That night, I sit in the dark, laptop glowing against the silence. I open my bank app, hoping it's some mistake. The number stares back at me, empty, cold, unforgiving. 92,000 gone without a trace. I scroll through statements, searching for something that makes sense. Each transaction feels like a cut I didn't see coming. New accounts. Unfamiliar charges. A credit line I never opened. My name appears everywhere, yet none of it is mine. I check my email for clues. Hundreds of documents signed digitally with my name. Insurance, credit cards, loans, all forged with perfect precision. My hands start to shake. Someone has been living my financial life behind my back. I think of Lena's car, the smug smile, the casual tone. Could it be them? No, my parents wouldn't. But the thought refuses to leave. I grab my phone and call Ryan. He answers on the second ring, his voice calm but alert. I tell him everything in one breath. He pauses, then says, "Bring your laptop, now." His apartment smells like coffee and exhaustion. He connects my computer to his system, typing fast, eyes scanning lines of code. Minutes stretch into hours. He finds email trails linked to my parents' old devices. Documents downloaded from my shared folders years ago. Signatures cloned. Passwords reset. Security questions answered with my childhood memories. The realization hits like a wave. They didn't hack me. They knew me. Ryan's voice softens. "Ella, this isn't random, it's personal." I feel the floor tilt beneath me. My parents, the people who taught me honesty, used it as a weapon. He traces payments leading to multiple accounts under my father's name. Another under Lena's, marked for tuition and travel. The sum grows, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds. Ryan looks up, eyes wide. This has been going on for years. The room spins. My entire adulthood built on discipline and saving, and they drained it drop by drop. They must have counted on me, never checking too closely. I whisper, "Why would they do this?" Ryan doesn't answer. There is no answer that fits. He prints out the logs, page after page of betrayal. My signature repeated like an echo I can't stop hearing. We sit in silence, the printer humming, the evidence piling up. I think of my father's words, "Family helps family." Now it sounds like a curse, not comfort. I open a new document, start listing every date, every account. If they stole my future, I'll take back the truth. Ryan nods. "We'll trace every cent. You're not alone in this." But I already feel alone. The night outside is quiet, almost peaceful. Inside, my life is collapsing in slow motion. And I know, from this moment on, nothing about my family will ever be the same. The next morning, my phone won't stop buzzing. Mom leaves 3 messages before breakfast. Her voice sounds warm, rehearsed, almost gentle. She says I'm overreacting. She says Lena didn't mean any harm. She says money can be replaced, but family cannot. I delete the messages without listening to the rest. By noon, Aunt Carol calls to check on my mental health. She says Mom is worried I'm having a breakdown. The story is spreading faster than the truth. Suddenly, I'm the unstable one, not the victim. At work, my boss notices I'm distracted. Numbers blur on the screen, figures I used to trust. I smile weakly and tell him I'm just tired. Inside, I'm burning. At night, I can't sleep. Every sound feels like a threat. Every silence feels like guilt. I replay Ryan's words. This isn't random. I start pinning bank statements on my wall. Red markers for forged loans. Blue for false credit cards. Yellow for transfers I can't trace. My apartment becomes an evidence map. The betrayal looks worse in color. I drink more coffee than water. I stop answering texts. Lena posts photos with her new car, smiling like nothing happened. Mom comments hearts and praise. My stomach twists. I scroll through family photos, wondering when I stopped belonging. Dad emails me once, short, cold, practical. He says the money wasn't technically stolen. He says I should think of it as an investment in family stability. I stare at the screen until the words blur. The audacity feels heavier than the theft. Later that week, a letter arrives from a law office. Formal, printed, intimidating. My parents are threatening legal action for financial abandonment. They want me to reopen the joint accounts. I laugh out loud, but the sound comes out broken. They're not just thieves, they're rewriting the story. Ryan finds me sitting on the floor, surrounded by papers. He tells me to breathe. He tells me to eat. I tell him I can't, not yet. He stays anyway, quietly sorting documents beside me. His presence keeps me anchored. But the nights are the hardest. Dreams turn into courtrooms. Faces I love become strangers with ledgers. Every beep of my phone makes my heart race. Every voicemail sounds like manipulation, disguised as concern. I begin writing everything down. Dates, times, words, threats, lies. If they want to gaslight me, I'll leave a record they can't erase. The pressure keeps building, day after day. I can feel myself cracking, but refuse to break. They took my money, my name, my peace. They will not take my truth. When the sun rises, I'm still awake. A single sentence echoes in my mind. If family can destroy you, they can also be brought to justice. And I know it's time to fight back. 3 weeks pass before I dial the fraud department. My voice trembles at first, then steadies with each word. The woman on the line listens carefully, takes notes, asks questions. When she says, "We believe you," I nearly collapse. It's the first validation I've had since this began. She explains the process, the evidence they'll need, the forms to submit. I already have everything organized: dates, documents, signatures. Ryan prints duplicates while I scan the originals into a folder. We send it all before midnight, clicking. Submit feels like pulling a trigger. The next morning, an investigator named Rowan calls me. His tone is calm but firm, like someone who's seen too much. He tells me my file is strong, unusually detailed for a civilian case. I tell him that when your family robs you, precision becomes survival. He pauses before replying, "Then let's get you some justice." For the first time in weeks, I breathe. That night, Mom texts me to come for dinner. She says we can talk things through like adults. I know what it is, a trap disguised as forgiveness. Still, part of me wants to believe they might be sorry. I drive there anyway, heart pounding harder with each mile. The house looks the same, but I don't. Lena waits in the living room, scrolling her phone, nails perfect. Dad stands behind the couch, arms folded like a judge. Mom greets me with a smile that never reaches her eyes. "We've all made mistakes," she begins softly. I stay standing. "This has gone too far," Dad adds, voice cold as glass. "You've always been good with money, Ella. You'll recover." Recover. They stole my life and call it recovery. I look at them, the people who raised me to respect others' property. Now they defend theft as family loyalty. Family helps family, Mom repeats like a prayer. Family doesn't forge signatures, I reply. Lena rolls her eyes, muttering something about drama. I take a deep breath. "You didn't borrow from me, you stole from me." The silence stretches long and sharp. Dad's face reddens, his voice rising. "We would have paid it back eventually." I shake my head slowly. "I don't need your promises. I need accountability." Mom's tears look perfect, practiced, familiar. They've used guilt as currency my whole life. Not anymore. I turn toward the door, my decision clear. Rowan's words echo, justice, not revenge. As I leave, Dad shouts that I'm ungrateful. Mom begs me to remember what family means. I stop at the threshold and whisper, "Family means love, not theft." Then I walk out. The cool night air feels like freedom and finality mixed together. I get in my car and don't look back. For the first time since this began, the fear fades. What replaces it is purpose. They took everything I had. Now I'll take back what they can't touch, the truth. A week later, I'm called into my manager's office. He looks uneasy, fingers tapping against a folder on his desk. "There's been a job application listing you as a reference," he says. My stomach knots before he even says the name. It's Lena. She applied for a position in our finance department. Attached to the file is a document with my signature. Only it's not mine. The loops are wrong, the pressure uneven, too clean. My own sister forged my name again. I exhale slowly, forcing my voice to stay calm. "May I show you something?" He nods. I slide the evidence folder across his desk. Bank statements, credit reports, forged contracts, all neatly labeled. He flips through page after page, his eyes widening with each one. "This goes beyond one signature," he murmurs. "Yes," I reply. "It's a pattern." The compliance officer is brought in. He reviews the documents, silent at first, then serious. When he looks up, his tone has changed completely. "Miss Ward, will open an internal fraud review immediately." My name, my story, finally treated like fact, not hysteria. By afternoon, security cameras catch Lena in the lobby. She's crying, shouting, playing the victim for anyone who will listen. "She's ruining our family," she wails, pointing toward me. I stay by the elevator, calm, watching it unfold. My boss arrives, stern and silent. "Please escort her out," he tells the guards. Her mascara streaks down as she yells. I only borrowed the money. She knows that. Every word is recorded, every lie preserved as proof. By evening, Rowan calls. He's received the footage, the employment files, my statement. He says the prosecutor is ready to move forward. "We have enough for formal charges," he tells me. "But I need your decision. Do you want to press charges against them?" I stare out the window, city lights blurring through tears I don't feel. Press charges against my own parents and sister. The people who raised me, who destroyed me. I think about all the sleepless nights, all the guilt they planted. I think about the girl I was before they took everything. "Yes," I whisper. He repeats softly, "You're sure?" "Yes," I say again, louder this time. "I want justice." He thanks me for my courage. After we hang up, I sit in silence for a long time. My hands are steady for the first time in months. The fear is gone, replaced by something colder, stronger. Not revenge. Resolve. They wanted to make me small, to keep me quiet. Instead, they taught me how to fight. Outside, rain starts to fall, tapping against the glass like applause. I close my eyes and let it wash away the last of my hesitation. Tomorrow, the world will know the truth. And this time, the story will finally belong to me. The courtroom smells like polished wood and fear. I sit in the front row, my hands folded tightly in my lap. Rowan nods at me from across the aisle, calm and certain. When they bring my parents and Lena in, I barely recognize them. Dad looks smaller, shoulders slumped, the authority gone. Mom's eyes are swollen, but her expression still calculated. Lena avoids my gaze, her face pale beneath the makeup. The judge calls my name for the victim's statement. I rise, my legs steady despite the pounding in my chest. For 29 years, I believed family meant safety. Instead, mine taught me that family can mean exploitation. I speak slowly, each word deliberate, sharp as glass. I describe the forged loans, the stolen savings, the lies. I tell them about the sleepless nights and the isolation. I tell them how my parents told everyone I was unstable. Mom hides her face, but I see her flinch. Dad stares straight ahead, jaw locked tight. When I finish, the judge's voice is low but firm. "Thank you, Miss Ward. You've shown exceptional courage." The sentencing feels like a breath I've held for years. 5 years in prison for my parents, restitution required. 3 years for Lena for fraud and identity theft. As they're led away, I stand, facing them one last time. You didn't love me, I say quietly. You loved what you could take from me. Lena's lips tremble, maybe guilt, maybe habit. It doesn't matter anymore. Outside the courthouse, the air feels lighter, thinner. Ryan meets me at the steps, holding out a coffee. To justice, he says. I smile for the first time in months. Weeks later, my boss calls me into his office. He praises my precision, my ethics, my resilience. He offers me a promotion, senior risk strategist. Double the pay. Double the responsibility. I accept without hesitation. The job feels like a reclamation of everything they tried to destroy. That evening, I meet Eliza, my realtor, at a small condo downtown. She hands me the keys with a grin. Mountain View, she says. The same dream I once thought I'd lost forever. I sign the papers, the pen steady in my hand. The walls are bare, but the air feels safe. For the first time, it's mine, fully, legally, undeniably mine. Later that night, I open a letter from the bank. They've confirmed the fraud. My credit score will be restored. 812. Higher than before. I laugh, a sound of release, not joy. I draft a final note to my parents. 1 year later, the world feels new but quieter. The noise of fear has faded, replaced by steady calm. Morning light spills across my apartment's glass walls. The mountains still take my breath away every time I look. This home is mine, fully, legally, completely. No one can touch it, no one can take it. The promotion came months ago. Senior risk strategist. It sounds powerful, but what it really means is trust rebuilt. Ryan visits often, bringing coffee and small peace offerings. He jokes that I've turned trauma into a career specialty. Maybe he's right. Because now, I help people who were like me. Victims of family fraud. Identity theft, financial betrayal. I teach them how to document, how to defend, how to heal. Each story feels like a mirror of my own. Every time I help someone fight back, the weight lifts a little. Detective Rowan still checks in sometimes. He became a friend, long after the headlines faded. He tells me my testimony inspired new policies for victims. It feels strange to be the example, but I accept it. Progress is made one scar at a time. Sometimes I still dream of my parents. Not the criminals, but the people I thought they were. The versions of them that existed before the lies. I wake up angry, then sad, then finally indifferent. Forgiveness isn't the goal anymore, peace is. Lena sends letters from prison, all apologies and excuses. I don't respond. There's nothing left to say. Their actions wrote the ending long before I did. Instead, I pour my energy into building something better. A financial literacy program for survivors of family exploitation. We host free classes, partner with legal aid, offer safe support. The first time a participant says, "You made me feel less alone," I realize this is what healing looks like. Not forgetting. Transforming. My circle has changed too. People who ask before taking, who listen before judging. We gather often, Ryan, Rowan, and Eliza from the realty office. They bring laughter and food, I bring stories and wine. We call it chosen family dinners. The phrase feels right. Because family isn't who shares your blood. It's who respects your boundaries. When my phone rings with prison calls, I don't flinch anymore. I silence it and return to my work, my joy, my life. Some bridges are better left burned. Their ashes fertilize stronger ground. At night, I step onto the balcony. The air is cool, the stars distant but steady. Below, the city hums with quiet determination. I raise my glass toward the horizon. To survival. To boundaries. To peace that no one else owns. For the first time since everything fell apart, I am whole. And this time, no one will ever steal that from me again. The evening sun bleeds gold across the sky. I stand by the window, glass of wine in hand, watching light fade. My phone buzzes once, the prison number flashing on screen. I let it ring until it stops. There's no anger left, only distance. A boundary drawn not in hate, but in peace. I think of who I was before all this. Quiet, compliant, desperate to please. That version of me is gone. In her place stands someone unshakable. The world didn't hand me freedom. I carved it myself. Justice wasn't revenge, it was clarity. Pain wasn't punishment, it was transformation. The mountains outside stand still, tall, untouchable. I see myself in them now. Unmoved by storms, shaped but not broken. Family can take your name, your trust, your money. But they can't take your will to rebuild. The city lights blink awake below, a map of new beginnings. I smile, set the glass down, and close the curtain. Tomorrow begins on my terms. And this time, the story ends exactly where I choose.